Welcome back. This is Journalist Hangout, and we have a switch. Emeka Madunagu is replacing Benga Onitilo. A round of applause. Benga Onitilo is still in the studio, is still in the house, and we have GKB replacing Wale Adoye. It's like a relay race, and don't forget, I still have my cerebral analyst in the house. Everybody that makes this program tick. Moji Jamil, Stella Soya, everybody, Tuli Abato, Enerve, Enakoko, everybody is still inside this house. Now, the big bang. DSS arrest judges. Let me start from you, Emeka.
Well, I remember last year, the day we discussed that matter, the table almost caught fire because I stood my ground and I felt it was unnecessary. The drama was unnecessary.
Are you still feeling that way?
Of course, the drama is unnecessary because for me, judges are Nigerians like any other person. And then if there were cases against them, such cases should have been handled in such a way that, you know, you weren't going to put the integrity of the entire judiciary into question. You weren't going to pull the house down because you wanted to deal with some people. So, and I felt that there was too much drama. We attach a lot of drama to routine things in this country. And that's why you find out that there is no lasting power. There is nothing. You know, you just have a lot of noise, hurricane, and when it goes, everything just spills away. What has happened since then anyway?
All right. Do you share the same sentiment when a judge was said to have close to $1 million in his account, another £1 million, and they were counting those ones that they've taken to court?
What we are waiting for is actually for them to present the evidence. We've heard so many things, but we've heard the same thing for politicians. We've heard it for policemen. You've heard of a man that was accused that have put money inside the pit, toilets. Yes. And so far, we've not seen the money.
There was nothing like that.
So that's not
didn't happen.
So if in our base,
and the FCC never said.
Never said
so we now get to a point in Nigeria where the drama will have to stop and reality will have to come in.
What is reality?
Reality
those
is
judges are not corrupt.
Convictions.
Convictions.
That's the key. Unless some people are in jail, as far as I'm concerned, what we're having is what my children will call season film.
Okay. Jude, we know the damages that corruption has done to our judiciary. And we've sat down here together, several episodes of Journalist Hangouts, and till you were like a soothsayer. 2 days before that particular arrest on judges, you know, we played back what you said, that DSS should do something, that judges are terribly corrupt in Nigeria.
Yes.
Was that a dream come true for you?
I hope that day will not come when you will be a victim of corruption in the judiciary. Because corruption in the judiciary is the worst form of corruption. Because there is nowhere else that you can run to. Once you are a victim of corruption in the judiciary, you are finished. They can even say they should go and guillotine you. You have nowhere to go except God. And God will not come down to decide cases for us in Nigeria. You know what made me very happy? We all know what happened in Kogi, the Faleke matter, where the judiciary turned logic on its head. 2 of those judges on the Kogi panel were among those that the DSS raided. How can I quarrel with DSS for doing this job? We proved on this table, citing the relevant laws, that the DSS has the power to pull down any building, pull down your door, and arrest you, because they need the proceeds of crime to build a case against you. So if they must announce to you that, oh, we are coming, it is what we did in Sambisa, that we ended up occupying an empty forest. If they must announce to you that they are coming, are you not going to hide your money? You hide your money, so they must catch you by surprise.
Yes, sir, we occupied an empty forest.
Yes.
By announcing to the terrorists that we are coming.
We boasted that flag that is not the authentic flag. The authentic Boko Haram flag has a white ring. That white ring is what affirms its loyalty to ISIS. Because when you look at ISIS flag, that white ring is a fixture on the flag.
Sure.
Go and check the speeches that Shekau had been making.
I know.
You will see
we've
that
not
white
gotten
ring.
there. Jide,
Okay,
go back to
let's
the
go
judges.
back. Now, these judges, if you've been a victim, you know what pushed the DSS to take that position. The NJC, they will report judges to NJC. Nothing will happen. Judges will be telling, NJC will be telling judges to be paying proceeds of crime in installments. Where is that done? That a judge was involved in 419. Mojid was here on the day we discussed the fate of that. A judge is doing 419 in today's Nigeria, and you don't want us to move against them. We will continue to move against them. Those judges are in court as we speak. If they are found not guilty, then they go back to their homes. It's as simple as that.
Like how Egbile, I want your reaction on this.
I hold a very strong view of the fact that what the DSS did was right. When as the residence of a judge turns into a bureau de change, when a judge will have $1 million or more in his house, what? And we know that with all this money they found in those houses, even if all the salaries they have been collecting right from their graduation day, even before he became a judge, cannot amount to that. So how else do you want it to be done? The DSS was right and will continue to be right. You don't tell people...
I actually invited my friend yesterday, my lawyer friend, Libros Oshoma. Libros, bail us out here.
My view is very different. There's corruption in the judiciary, we all know. But you don't fight corruption with corruption, otherwise you miss the point. Legal proceedings, there are procedures. Yeah. If you create loopholes, these are judges. If you create loopholes for them, because of the innate corruption, they will expand it at the end of the day.
Tell us the loopholes. What are those loopholes that was created by that action?
Because first and foremost, you create sentiments. You create sentiments, and then for everybody condemned the corruption. But the method, people started telling you, look, this method, even the FCC said, look, DSS does not have the power to do that, that they are the ones with the power. These are two agencies of government.
Lawyer, is there any law in Nigeria that says in Nigeria right now that say they can even break into their house?
Listen, the DSS, even the Act, the DSS
Administration
Act,
of Criminal Justice Act 2015.
It's national security and not economic and financial crimes. Correct. Even people that have argued, including lawyers that have argued that position, have asked them, show me where.
It has to do with economic crimes. Yes.
Economic crimes, not economic crime, national security. Yes. And so when you do things like this, also don't set bad precedent, because a time will come when you will have a Pharaoh that does not know Joseph. So what you're going to have, let me finish so that I don't break my line of thought. Okay. What you're going to have is, you will have somebody that would come and he would do it the same way, even to good people. And they will say there's a precedent, there was a time DSS did it. Did anybody complain? Because there are already rules on how to deal with corrupt judges. If the NJC is ineffective, if the MBA is ineffective, find ways of making it effective. As I speak to you, the NJC sits on ad hoc basis. And so, even if you do this, it still does not give them, still do not have the powers to ensure that they sit on regular basis to handle matters.
No. Jide, you want to ask? Okay.
Now, when you sell justice to the highest bidder, what do you encourage? You encourage the return to the state of nature, Thomas Hobbes' state of nature. That state of nature, is it not about national security? when people resort to taking the law into their hands, because that is potentially dangerous.
Answer quickly. I have to go to my audience.
If people feel aggrieved, if we create a situation, hold on.
That is subject to interpretation.
Yes.
This is your interpretation.
Yes.
And a judge might interpret it differently.
Yes.
Okay.
But when it's as straight as this, we'll have a unanimous voice on that issue. And at the end of the day, we all agree there's corruption in the judiciary.
All right, the man raising up his hand. Gentlemen, let's have your name and where you are coming from.
Thank you. My name is Olayinka Ogunshui. I came from Ajaleki, Lagos.
Okay.
I want to say good job. I don't have more time, but let me just say quickly on this issue on the ground. I want to congratulate the government or President Buhari and the DSS for that bold and courageous move. Like Abaji rightly said, when injustice will actually result in anarchy, and anarchy is a state of insecurity. So everything that could cause insecurity as its end product is the business of DSS and is the business of government.
Thank you.
And so,
More contributor. Charles Budaho.
Well, for me, I want to toe the line of people who have posited that the DSS had the responsibility to make sure that they stem the tide of the drift that we had. Because as he said, if we had allowed that regime to continue, the regime of corruption, that brazen corruption from that aspect of our society, then the common man is in trouble. Okay, the woman is in trouble because they are next to God. They are next to after Judiciary then is God. So which means that everybody will now resort to a situation whereby we all protect ourselves, and it's self-help. Society will be problem.
Yes. Just hold your breath there. Let me quickly pay this bill. When we come back, we'll talk more. Is the extended version of Journalist Hangout, reaching you live from the studio of Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria. You need to see the heat of the studio when we went on break. Everybody wants to talk, and they have one or two contributions to make. But our time is fast spent. Senator Abubakar Bukola Saraki, the Senate President and number 3 man, the chairman of the National Assembly, was paraded at the Code of Conduct Tribunal. And the CC trial started, and we had minimum of 42 senators following him through and through in 2016. Babajide Kolade Otitoju, let me start from you.
But are you...
Your reaction to that trial?
To them following him?
No. The trial that number 3 man, a sitting number 3 man, can be paraded in front of the Code of Conduct Tribunal.
No big deal. Perhaps what would have excited me the most was to put him in handcuffs. But they didn't even put him in handcuffs. So what's the big deal in putting him in the dock? It's not too big to be put in the dock. You see, this has happened in other countries. Why is it that we read about other lands? The finest things about other lands we do not want to imbibe in our country. Ideally, the moment Abubakar Bukola Saraki was put on trial, he should have given up his position. He should have given up his position. Because I'm not a judge. I'm not a judge, but I think I know so much about him. And I think that when you look back to his past, especially what happened at Societe Generale Bank, you will know that Bukola Saraki has a sordid past. A sordid past that naturally, if we were not a deceased country, he shouldn't even have ventured to hold any public position. Now, He is holding a public position. He's the number 3 man.
I think he's waxing stronger.
Well,
The president,
no doubt about it. He's waxing stronger. But that can only find a place in a country like Nigeria. And that's why, when these things happen, the things that are happening that your politicians are doing to the rest of us is the reason why every country appears to have left Nigeria behind. Countries that we helped them to build, that we helped build, especially those frontline states, today, they are the pride of Africa. Botswana, even Rwanda, that survived genocide. Today, everybody is talking about them. Even Zambia now. Zambia as we speak. Zambia.
Best currency.
Nobody is talking about Nigeria. Obama, despite some Nigerians who killed themselves because of Obama, he came to Africa. He stopped in Ghana. He didn't come here. Shouldn't we sit down and think? The way we do things, the way we wink at corruption, will never make people respect us. We are lucky that we have a president that the world respects because of his anti-corruption war. But the worst that can happen is for this president to face so much heat and then decide to mellow down.
All right.
The war against corruption.
Before I go to Stella Sawyer and the ladies in the house, they must talk. GKB, your point on Bukola Saraki's trial.
Bukola is a mirror image of Nigeria. It represents the very worst in us. And it's a tragedy really because the more young people see Bukola Saraki as an hero, the more we know that our future is meant for destruction. It is unfortunate because one of the failures of the Buhari administration is his inability to rein in Bukola Saraki as an example of what corruption should be fought.
To even stop him from
because Buhari himself has other agenda. When the National Assembly was being inaugurated, he's now coming back to bite him.
He said he could work with anybody.
Now today, we all know that Saraki is teaching the Buhari administration what we call politics 101.
Yes, no.
That's the basic
No doubt about it.
Because the man now is, whether you like it or not, the most powerful politician in Nigeria today. And the man is as corrupt as the day is long.
Stella Sawyer.
Of Bukola Saraki actually sent jitters down the spine of Nigerians. Ordinarily, when Buhari came into power, we were actually, the fights, the anti-corruption war, people were actually looking at how it's going to go. And with the way Saraki was actually arraigned, it actually, shows that maybe Buhari actually was ready to nail whoever is allegedly, tagged to be corrupt. So I think the arraignment, well, is still in court, and the trial was supposed to be delivered sometime, early this, the first quarter of this year. So we're actually waiting for the outcome of the trial. But I think, to me, it's just a pointer that the government meant business concerning this anti-corruption war. And it's also telling us that nobody is above the law.
Okay, I'm juggling so many things at the same time.
Okay.
I have Innocent calling me from Edo State. Happy New Year, Innocent. Many thanks for joining us. You're my second caller for the year 2017.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening, Innocent.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
Yeah. Ogajide, how are you?
I did fine, no.
I always enjoy your point.
Go ahead. I don't have time.
Okay.
Yes,
so,
but you can praise today.
The issue of Saraki. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Unlike the issue of Saraki, so it is true that the president wants to fight corruption, but the system at which he used in going into Saraki's case, I think it was somehow like, he had an agenda, issue with Saraki. If Ahmed Lawal, that the APC, had wanted to be the Senate president, I think Saraki did not play the first one on the APC. I don't think they would have even come out to say Saraki did this or did that.
Thank you, Innocent. Where's AB from Bayelsa State? AB came all the way from Bayelsa State. A round of applause for AB. And it's a regular caller on Journalist Hangout. Let me have your contribution on this, AB. Madam, we'll come back to you.
Okay, on the issue of Saraki.
Yes, sit
down. Well, Saraki's issue, it is not bad what the government is doing by trying to bring him to book, because politicians are really the cause of corruption. Even if you go to the Niger Delta, when you talk about corruption, it is the politicians that have brought the situation that we are facing in the Niger Delta.
The backwardness in that region.
Because all the money that is meant for the Niger Delta that should have been used in developing the Niger Delta have been squandered by the politicians. And these boys, they don't have anywhere to go. So they now go back to the federal government. They should have gone to the same politician, but politicians will still use money to make sure that they don't come against them. So going after these politicians that are causing this problem is not a bad idea.
All right, madam. Thank you, Abby. Thank you. We appreciate you coming all the way from Bayelsa State. Madam, what's your name?
My name is Amasa, and I'm from Ikeja.
Ikeja
here, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with Abi, my brother from Niger Delta. I'm from Delta State as well.
Okay.
You know, from Saraki to Dogara, what has happened to that as well? It seems as if the whistleblower, the person that brought the message, is now ostracized, you know. So until Nigeria, we pay more attention to education and exposure, we're just going to yak, and nothing's done. 18-year-olds in Hong Kong held the country to ransom when things were not going right. So I don't know how we got to this extent, but until we start, you know, change really must begin with us, in that we ourselves, we just shouldn't take everything lying down. We're just here talking. Who's going to do anything if Saraki gets away with it?
All right, madam behind, you want to say something? You want to do something? All right, the madam in the front. All right, any other contributor there? We will talk about political solution. Joshua Egbani. Josh.
Well, my take on this being discussed is it should be holistic. It's not just blowing hot air. You're fighting corruption, you make an arrest, go to court, and the outcome is almost something that's determined. We want to see a situation where, like I said, it's holistic. Those who, because the perception over there is people who have been persecuted and those who seem to be in the opposition, and there are pointed out, fingers have been pointed at those who are saying the government, for one reason or the other, they are being shielded. And to that, some doubts are being created in the minds of Nigerians. How encompassing, all encompassing is the fight about corruption is going on in Nigeria. So we want to see a situation where everybody who have been mentioned at one point or the other as being corrupt is picked, and the same treatment be meted to that person. So
all right, Josh, we need to go on this break. When we come back, we'll talk about political situation. It's still Journalist Hangout. Welcome back. It's still Journalist Hangout, and we're reaching home stretch now. Now, talking about, I wanted to say political solution. It's as if the CCT's case is not going anywhere. Back and forth, and we're still at the cross-examination of one man they call Wetcast and everything.
Yeah,
it's not making any headway. And ultimately, people are saying that the body language of Mr. President with Abubakar Bukola Saraki might be saying that there might be a political situation to solution to his predicament. Why do you think Mr. President needs Saraki? And because Saraki is very strong in the National Assembly.
The National Assembly is doing its best to whip the president into line, especially the Senate. The president needs that loan badly. And I can predict that he will represent that proposal. they need to have Saraki on their side so that when he represents the loan proposal, it will now sail through. He also wants the budget to be passed quickly, you know, so that they can begin to attack the recession and then the infrastructure development that they want to take place in 2017 can take place. Remember that they've already shut down some of the requests of Mr. President. Remember the issue of ambassadors and all
the
that.
non-career ambassadors.
Yes. These are not things that the president wanted to see or expected. You have a National Assembly, a Senate dominated by APC, but it's extremely hostile to the president. So what the president wants now is to move as close as he can to Saraki and Dogara. You saw the way he was praising Dogara the other day, as if Dogara were a pope. You know? So it is obvious that they are going to tell Mr. President at the end of the day that, look, you need these people. If you do not work with these people, your government will fail. And that is, when you make a mistake in politics, it can go on to haunt you for the rest of your career. The mistake that Mr. President made in allowing a character like Bukola Saraki to emerge has now come to haunt him. Maybe in future, he will not say that I'm for everybody. He will say that I'm for only people who are clean.
GKB, political solution to this trial. Now it's as if when the president is caught between the devil and the deep blue sea now. And I won't say corruption is fighting back, but he needs to work with these people.
Corruption is standing his ground.
Corruption owns the room. Buhari is the tenant. Corruption is the landlord of the room. So we just do his bits and move away. And corruption will still be there.
Yes.
Like he said, we have to face the reality that Buhari is not the answer. The system itself will consume anybody. That's why I said there a couple of months ago that we've run out of heroes. There's nobody left who has the moral right to do anything in Nigeria. And it's unfortunate because he has such a wonderful opportunity for 3 months after his election to set the agenda. He had 6 months after he was sworn in to push this in this direction. He wasted 18 months grandstanding, going around the world telling them how bad we are. And you want the same people that you've called names to come back and work with you? It's not going to happen.
Emeka.
And having said that, you have to face the reality.
No, for me, all the points made here are very, very interesting, you know. But basically, how come you keep having cases of corruption around the president? What is going on? That's why I say, one, if you can break into the homes of judges, why can't you break into the homes of politicians? Why are you now defending them? Okay, fine, that Saraki should step aside, and yet the others cannot step aside. So what are we talking about? There must be one standard in fighting corruption.
I'm the one who said they should step aside.
No, I agree.
Not the president.
No, but some people around the president also said it at that time that Bukola Saraki should step aside.
They don't want to go.
But between then and now, some other people have been named, and nobody is saying they should step aside. They're only saying, well,
the opposition should not keep quiet.
They're all allegations.
All right, moving on now. The year 2016 started badly for many Nigerians in the northeast, especially Borno State. Many Nigerians were killed in attacks masterminded by Boko Haram. While the northeast was grappling with its worst insurgency in modern history, the north central, south and west battled herdsmen attacks. How did this government resolve it? Let's start with Fulani herdsmen or herdsmen. it's Wahid Bakare.
Herdsmen.
The answer that the government, the response they give to this herdsmen.
I think initially the government did not really take the issue of the herdsmen seriously, until when they started killing a lot of people, particularly those who are from the southeast, and elsewhere. And unfortunately, ours is a country whereby there is this mutual suspicion, among the ethnic groups. Now we have a president who is a Fulani man, and we have some people, that are claiming to be Fulani S-men, attacking people that are not from their own community. So it put a lot of pressure on the system, particularly because the president did not even deem it fit at a time, to come out and address the situation. So his silence, for a lot of people was like an endorsement to what was happening, because people were wondering, for so many years we have been together, we all grew up some of us who grew up in Lagos, we knew that, Fulani S-men, we see them on a daily basis, they go about with their rods. But we now have a situation whereby people now go about with AK-47 in the name of we need to protect our
Rube, quickly, your intervention on this.
I think what is critical is that the president and his people and his team, and even the governor of Kaduna State, because what is happening in Kaduna now is a pointer to that fact, said that it's foreigners that were carrying out these attacks. Now, as in Nigeria, I know that I need a visa to get out of this country, to visit any other country. So, how come foreigners are entering the country without those in government knowing why they are entering? And if you believe that they are foreigners that are entering, that means that you have intelligence on them. So what are you doing about it? And then, of course, the governor has denied that he did say, because he was quoted to have said that he was paying some people to stop killings, Fulani people to stop killing, but he has denied that. So you now begin to ask yourself that, is it that he's sanctioning, or that the government itself, because even the president has said that he has been briefed by the governor, so he cannot do anything. That was what his spokesperson said, that he has been briefed by the governor. And I expect that the president, who is the commander-in-chief, wherever there is trouble in any part of the country, should be able to deploy troops to protect them. And what we've also heard from Sata Kaduna, because you need to, as a journalist, what I do is to hear from both sides. And from the Christian Association of Nigeria, the General Secretary of CAN, that is Reverend Musa Asake, who is also from Kaduna State. What he said was that...
Okay, Nerube, let me quickly take Hassan. Hassan is calling us from Nasarawa State. Atta from Nasarawa State. Thank you for joining us, Atta. Compliments of the season. Happy New Year.
Good evening to all of you in the studio.
Good evening, Atta.
Yes, I want to make this contribution.
All right, quickly.
Nigeria is rather hydra-headed. And we need a decisive president to do something or to do justice to the problem that is bedeviling this nation. We have a president that seems to me to be one-sided in some of his, activities. And such a process is not good for us as a nation.
All right, thank you, Atta. Thank you, Atta. Jide, this Shekau, it looks like a cat with 9 lives.
15.
Because, I don't know, the number of times that the Nigerian army, they've told us that he's dead, he has been wounded, this, and it keeps coming with his videos and everything. What's happening?
I think the truth is that the Nigerian army has stopped saying he's dead. They stopped saying that. They stopped saying that a few months ago. They admit now that he's alive. So that time is gone when Major General Leo Irabo will address people and say that Shekau is the name, the generic name for anybody leading the group. Of course, that is a lie. In the
like
past,
Bomo Jomo.
In the past, Abu Kaka was the name that anybody who was spokesman for Boko Haram was called. But in this case, this is not the spokesman of the group. He's the spiritual leader of the group, the head of the group's Shura Council. So Shekau is different. And when we even had Abu Kaka, there was Shekau. So Leo Irabom was wrong in saying that. And if we kill people in the past who looked like him, did we do any DNA test to ascertain that, yes, that person killed was Shekau? Now we have a situation in which the fact that we've not been able to lay our hands on him continues to give hope and encouragement to his troops. You know, so right now we have a big battle on our hands.
And then, JKB, Chibok girls.
Yeah.
25 released in exchange of, we don't know.
In exchange for the end of the year, something. Go on.
So now, out of the 276 to 71,
We have about 50 now.
now we have, is it 50?
Yeah.
Okay.
So. I'm not really bothered about the role of. What I'm bothered about as a journalist is the fact that 1.5 months after the first set were released, you are here to have an interview with one of these girls. You are here to hear from them what they went through. The army said they are going to be debriefed, and I'm sure that ended about a month ago. Right now, I expect Nigerian journalists to have the exclusive of what these girls went through, so we can now make up our minds the level of terror that were posted on them by the terrorists.
They didn't even allow their parents to have them for Christmas. They didn't allow them
So
to go to
something-
church on Christmas Day. I don't know.
I don't want to
why
say
they are
something
holding
is
on to
fishy,
them.
but I can't understand. All over the world, when things like this happen, a book will have been out by now. About 3-4 articles will have been written.
Maybe because they are expecting to have another round of negotiation, so they have to be careful. Because you recall that these ones were taken from Shekau. Yes, this
All right,
21.
Babajide, I need to go on this break, and this, trust me, this is our final break, and we'll take this final break. When we come back, we just reach home stretch. It's Journalists Hangout. Welcome back. Last week, it was celebrated, even as at yesterday, the president was giving the flag and was giving the Quran of the Abubakar. Is this Shekau? Now, gentlemen, Sambisa Forest, whether we like it or not, or we agree or not, fell. And our soldiers went into Camp Zero, and they snapped pictures from Camp Zero. And a lot of people will tell me that as military strategists, they will tell you that if the enemy, if they lost their base, that major setback on any kind of recalibration they want to do, that it's 80% won. But some people make the mistake, or some segment of the Nigerian media, they will say that Boko Haram has been defeated. In the last 72 hours after Camp Zero fell, we've had 3 attacks. And there's fire on the mountain. It's not yet Uhuru. Babajide.
These days, I'm very cautious about what I say about the military. Because even my own colleagues, journalists who should know better, accuse you of not loving your country because you say the truth. Some time ago, I said, when the story was that, there's no part of Nigeria occupied by Boko Haram, I said it was a lie. There are 3 local governments in Borno State were being occupied by Boko Haram, and I mentioned those local governments repeatedly. Mate, Moba, Abadam. Abadam was where Colonel Abu Ali was killed. That's in Malam Fatori. You see, when this story about Sambisa falling, when it broke, I said on this program that Sambisa will not be the last battleground. Yeah. That the last battleground is in the Lake Chad area. People choose to believe what they want to believe. Why did I say so? Because no threats to our troops had come from Sambisa in the last 3 or 4 months. The threats to our troops had been from the Lake Chad area. And those threats have not stopped. Because on Friday, in a town called Ran, in Kalabalge local government, in Borno State, Boko Haram attacked our troops for 3 hours before they were overpowered. Now, a fighting group that can engage the enemy for 3 hours is not, in my view, an army that has been defeated. It is what is happening in Nigeria is similar to what happened in Somalia. Yes, Al-Shabaab lost territory, but I don't think any Somali leader in his most drunken state will admit or will say that Al-Shabaab has been defeated. Most of the territories that they held have been taken by the OAU peacekeeping force and Kenyan forces. Kenyan forces especially the coastal communities. But they know that they still constitute a serious threat. Our inability to grab Shekau or any member of his Shura Council, our inability to rescue the Chibok girls inside Sambisa where they've been held for years now, has given Boko Haram some form of hope. Leverage. That we can sustain this war. Because they think that for as long as they hold those girls, we'll be looking for a way to rescue them and we will bring money. And if we bring money, they will buy weapons with the money. So they won't mind now taking those girls across the border because those girls are the best, how do I describe it? Best access that they have. So, and Sambisa is not the only forest, even in Borno State. Alagarno is the forest in Borno State. Boko Haram still has men hiding on Goza Mountains because that town where our soldiers were attacked on Friday is not far from Goza. The other side of Goza Mountain is Cameroon. So Goza Mountains have remained a shelter for Boko Haram fighters. And the bushes around Goza, Bama, and all of these places, Abadam, all of those, they are still there. That is the fact. So what you read about on Friday, that they wounded some of our soldiers, one had to be taken away in an helicopter, you are still going to read about such stories because the enemy has not been crushed. Until the enemy is crushed. Because what happened is before we got inside Camp Zairo, they had escaped. Even with their weapons, they escaped. And with our guests. So they didn't meet anybody. They didn't meet anybody. When Chadian soldiers come to Nigeria to fight, they bring people, the videographers, who will come and film the fighting. That's what they do. I'm waiting to see the operation in Sambisa. I'm waiting to see that video. I'm not interested in seeing camps being set ablaze and all that. No, I want to see how we kill the enemy.
And we've not gotten any story about that. Emeka, this war is not easy to defeat, this kind of ideological group. Because even though if you kill the leader, they have succession plans. And they can have like 20, leader apparent in their groups. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How best? Do you think the military option is working?
No. We didn't take the ideological battle early enough. Look at Al-Qaeda. When the 9/11 attacks occurred, where was Osama bin Laden? It was in Afghanistan. But at the end of the day, he kept moving and moving. Don't forget, at the point, he was in Sudan. He kept moving and moving and moving until he was killed in Pakistan. But even at that, today, you have ISIS. Al-Qaeda is still there in the sideline, but it has now given back to something bigger, ISIS.
More dangerous.
Now, the danger is this. You may say you have defeated Boko Haram, but the mutations could lead to something more dangerous, something factions. More deadly. You have people who have been radicalized, who have been brainwashed, and people who have grown up, people who have come to fight with that notion that Nigeria is an enemy and that should be destroyed. So government needs to do something. They need to really move fast, study how Al-Qaeda moved on, and then give back to ISIS, so that you can really, really win this war.
Okay, quickly, let me take contribution from Tunde Abaton and Moji Jamiu. Quickly on this.
I think basically one of the problems we have in this country is that our leaders don't plan ahead. Yes, we had the general who happens to have been governor of the Northeast for probably northeastern region for probably 4 years, and those regions now are not under serious attack. One of the marks of a general is that you have a lot of fallback positions when your troop is being besieged by the enemy. But it will appear as if our leaders have a natural passion for celebrating little victories. When you celebrate little victories, you give yourself a false sense of security. And when you give yourself a false sense of security, you let down your guards. And when you let down your guards,
my time is fast spent. Thank you, Tunde Abaton.
So the problem is that we let down our guards.
I think I want to agree with others that our strategy on the quote-unquote conquer of Boko Haram is very wrong. Why do we still keep having these attacks? And like I said, we need to. This is a war that we need to strategize on if we must really overcome. It's not yet Uhuru, and I think it's very poor for our soldiers to be jubilating. And I mean, the following day you have other attacks. I think it's. It speaks volumes about our communication strategy.
Thank you, Moji. Each time you watch journalist Hangout on television, some of our colleagues are off the screen, working very hard to make the show possible. Our producers, Bayomi, JJ, Rashidat, super people, are the strength of this show. Anyway, their work starts much earlier before the show. It starts at 5 p.m. and does not end till the show ends on TV. In fact, they are constantly improving and reinventing the show. We say thank you to all of them. Abayomi Adisa, lovely producer. John Jacob, lovely producer. John Jacob, take a bow wherever you are. And Rashidat she's an intern in Continental Broadcasting Services, but she does Monday to Saturday, and she's one of our greatest producers I've worked with. She's not even, for an intern, I think, watch it. This young lady will go places. We say thank you to all of them and the entire crew. Floor managers, Timothy Adepoju, Dio, D1. Thank you.
Bring our cake.
Just bring our cake. Engineers, online, multimedia, desk editors, drivers, everyone that works on the show. I want you to join us with MJ and all our resource people, regular resource people, and if you want to know Rashidat, this is Rashidat, wonderful producer, Abayomi Adisa, John Jacob, wonderful. Please join me, Enerve, Nakoko, everybody, Stella Sawyer, all my resource people that makes Journalist Hangout tick.
Won't you put something on that?
These are wonderful people.
I thought you put something on that.
And turn it the other way.
No still cameraman.
All right.
That's all they are doing.
Come down.
For all our live guests that are in the studio today, don't worry. After the program, we're going to have time to take photographs. Please, after the program, we're going to have time to take photographs. And refreshments.
Okay.
So, Jide, what do we say in this session?
Well, I want to say a big thank you to the ruler of the universe, the soon coming king, for taking us this far. Journalist Hangout has become one of the most popular programs in Nigeria. Everywhere we go, we are recognized. And it is because of the support of each and every one of you. You constantly call us. You make us feel like improving every time. You make us work hard because we know we must deliver. We must make you happy. So that is why we are where we are today. And we thank our bosses, especially Mr. Lemi Olalemi.
Yes, our Chief Operating Officer.
Chief Operating Officer, for the support that he has given us.
Wonderful man.
We are not gagged. We are not told, don't say this.
That's why.
Every time I come here, it is not my family's opinion that I express. It's just mine. And I like it like that. We must give our bosses the adulation that they deserve. I want to also say a big thank you to our former boss, Mr. Adeboyega, who gave us the name Journalist Hangout.
Yes.
And that name is a winner.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Adeboyega. Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us in celebrating today. And we hope that next year you'll be with us as we celebrate, even on a bigger scale.
Yes, and one of my one of my other directors, Ojawan from Ekiti State, tremendous. I can see tallest. Oh, to cut the cake, we're going to cut the cake right immediately after the program, and that is it. And that is it on Journalist Hangout today. Our extended version, the first of its kind in the year 2017. And a repeat version is going to be relayed tonight, the same time, 11 p.m. Our studio audience is you've been amazing. Please, a round of applause for our studio audience. Thank you, thank you. They came from far and wide, everywhere in the country. Thank you. It's so amazing. I still have people calling me that we were not invited. Sorry, we have limited capacity inside our studio. But next year, by God's grace, that is the year 2018. We'll take it to the stadium. We might take it out of this place. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for those people that have made this production a success. Thank you so much. So, my cameraman, thank you. And I say Happy New Year. Compliment to the students, to all Nigerians. Bye for now. Thank you.